I'm learning that I learn a lot in nature. When I'm just in nature and touching nature and feeling nature, I learn a lot because my surroundings start to reveal a lot. And it's quite interesting, really, like small things, you know, like you just learn so much about the body, and I really agree with that quote, and I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it was P. Manly Hall. He says something like, we learn through labour, do you know what I mean, or something like that. Labour is something for learning. I'll put it up. Sorry, I don't know the quote. I just know the feeling of the quote. Yeah, so yeah, he says you like learning. Labour is like how you learn, and yeah, when I'm there using it, I learn so much about the body. Like I'm using these pincers. Do you know what I mean? These pincers. I don't know what they're called, but big shearing, big scissory things to cut the like sticks up and that. And like it's a movement, right? And it feels more natural for me to want to break the sticks with my hands, or you know, it's more natural to like line them up and then use the body to apply that kind of snapping force than it is to sort of like try and generate that sort of snapping force with my muscles. It's quite hard, and you can feel like your wrists and stuff. So obviously you can train yourself. You can feel your lower back, like how do you stand, do you bend, do you lean, do you tighten your core? Like you have to test all these ways just to use this piece of equipment, when it's much more intuitive, like I'm saying, to just snap each stick. But the thing with that is it's much more time consuming, and it's much more mind consuming, because most of the time, you know, I don't know, most people who are using tools, I don't think they really think about how their body works for some reason. They just lug around, and I think that reason actually is time as well, because we're doing things for time and for money, and so there's less heart involved. Anyway, but yeah, when you're kind of using those tools, like, you have to think about how your body moves, and so you start feeling the muscles and feeling what they do and feeling how they work, and yeah, I know I'm going to be sore like all through my forearms tomorrow, because that was like a movement that I don't ever have to do. And I was thinking to myself, you know, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that at all. Like a lot of people I know would like my sister couldn't do that, my mum couldn't do that, like, because the bodies don't function like they're supposed to these days, because we don't do the things that the body is supposed to do. And it's yeah, so you get to learn about your body, and then looking at the nature as well, you get to learn about what your body needs. I suddenly became clear. I've been struggling to understand what I need to eat in England, and I've been sort of playing with it, because the thing is, I don't think I'm made for England. Firstly, I'm black, so I just don't think I'm made for it. So do you know what I mean? There is some genetics in me that doesn't like this weather, not just my brain, and yeah, basically, I also don't know if I really like the food that I should be eating. But it's good for me because it's good for my goals. But it's a bit boring, like, yeah. But I know I should be eating some nice plums now. I think I've been out there and I'm like, yes, plums, plum jams, breads, oats, you know, stuff like that. And it's just very beige food, to be honest, actually, and then jazzed up with a few berries and plums. But it'd be wicked to make some of my own jams for next season. Do you know what I mean? When the plums come in, and they come in, I don't know how the supermarkets work here. Like, surely, like, I don't know, like, you know, obviously when plums come in and you live in like nature, they come in, and when they're in bulk season, because you're getting what's seasonal, like the price is low and then the price goes up when it's like not in season. But I don't know if it's like that here. I think you could just get the same thing all year, all round, but I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, whatever, I would like to make some plum jams and stuff like that, and just really, yeah. I was thinking about lavender. I've never had the desire to grow lavender. Never had the sort of any sort of desire for lavender until literally right now, when I'm just like out here and I'm feeling a bit sniffly and, you know, a bit like, just not congested, but you're just like nasal. Do you know what I mean? And it's heavy. It's just heavy and cold and a bit numb. So lavender, I just, you know, when I was in the bushes, and like there was like a lavendery type bush, the smell just came through, and I just was like, oh, that is healing. Do you know what I mean? That is very healing, and I've never felt that desire for lavender before. I'm always actually quite like, nah, we don't really like the smell of lavender, but I've lived in hot places. Do you know what I mean? Lavender is the one. There is something. But yeah, you see the heartiness of the English the English nature, it's so orange and so bright and still so dense with like nutrients and value, and it's just, yeah, it's a crazy thing, to be honest. But I love it. I love learning in nature. And I happen to be by a school, and it's funny because, like, you know, I was thinking about law and order, because we just don't live without it. It was strange. I was doing the gardening, and then basically like the bell went because they were on break time, and then everything went silent, and I was just like, oh wow, that's really like a response to a stimulus. Do you know what I mean? Like, from little children, we start learn to go on this bell, and then stop on this bell, and be quiet when this bell, and we obey that one person that's put ahead of us, like from the get-go, and they're older and they're maybe wiser, and they have automatic authority. And it's just quite a strange thing to like sort of listen. Nobody steps out of line, you know, like everyone goes quiet, and we learn that from like that young. You know, fire drills, you know, in school where fire alarm goes off, this is what you do. You walk, you line up in your line, we count you, you stand there, and then when we say, you all go back. And it's just like, I don't know, I just found that really fascinating to think of, like, there so many people, they sit under one person and are guided, and no matter what happens in this world, like, there is Saturn, which is the planet, and it's the planet of law and order, and he radiates his rays down onto this earth every single day, and we just can't, as communities, I don't think, exist without some form of authority or some form of law and order, even though it always feels like the goal that we want is to be absolutely free and free to live. Like, I just think that freedom comes with some law and order, like, do you know what I mean? Like, almost counteracting it. I don't know how to express, but you just can't escape it, I think, in humanity. And you know, the only way you do escape that is by coming out of humanity as a whole and rise into spirit. And what even happens when that happens? Like, if every single person evolved, would we even be humanity anymore? Like, you know, if we were all literally living from pure spirit, would we even be humanity anymore? Or if we all got to that level, would we simply just tip straight back down into a humanity? Like, do you know what I mean? Because if we did reach that point, like, we literally have to evolve into almost like light beings or something, or one person would have to like want law and order, like, and that's like, I don't know, like, would that happen when you get to the next level? Like, okay, now something has to be pushed out of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, anyway, it's a funny world down here, but yeah, I'm learning a lot. I like being out in nature because I can think to myself, and it's really beautiful to just, that's one of my favorite things to do, actually. It's thinking, and nature is almost like meditation for me. So man, it's been amazing to sort of have that same experience again that I used to have in Thailand, where I just, you know, be in the nature and rake leaves and think, and that was beautiful. And that was me doing it again today. And yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. That's what nature does to me, gets me on a high up, literally. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to maybe go back out there, I'm not sure. It's very wet. Crazy looking at this wood, because it's like so hearty, if you know what I mean. It's like, I don't know, it feels like there'd basically be so many antibacterial properties to this. Like, it deals with the English cold and weather, and it's like, look at it, it's red, almost like it's got a ready tin, like it's thriving with, I don't know, blood and energy and life, and like, you know, I don't know, maybe very high in essential oils and that oily substance which is so good for the human, and or I'm not even going to say so good for the human, but it's so dense in property, if you know what I mean. So, you know, like, I'm thinking like, I don't know, because this is just plants, but I'm thinking like antibacterial and just, you know, good for the immune system and stuff like that in this stuff. It's crazy. Like teas and brews and oils.